Man, you bitch niggas better ante up or elevate. I need 6-figure money, won't hella bucks and hella cake. Fuck boy, I been on dummy, shooting hella ops, make them a day. If not him, then kill his mama, make him feel his wrath in the hell away. Hydro shock with his eye, make through his chest, watch as they swim away. I don't stop shooting till you down in your last breath, and then I skid away. This a hollow tip.
Gang, what's poppin', man? Welcome back to Let's Talk Everything 414 podcast. This the channel where we like to talk, learn, and grow. Gang, you understand what I'm saying? I know a lot of people out there right now in 2026, they ain't learning, they ain't growing, and they definitely ain't talking, right? Because social media killed all that, right? So that's why they got people like us, people like me, people like the Maverick Approach, people like Jay Shitty. Shout out to Jay Shitty Podcast. You understand what I'm saying? So I got a neuroscientist who is finna bring some of her most knowledgeable information, some of her most untalked about information around the world. Because right now ain't nobody talking about neuroscience, ain't nobody talking about brain work, ain't nobody even look like Charlamagne said. Shout out to Charlamagne the God, you feel me? From the Breakfast Club. He made a book about it, how black people are scared to talk about mental health or even talk about anything mental for that matter. But you know, they brushed it under the rug. And I think we are the main culture that need to hit that lane, because every other culture seems to take this by storm. They make themselves therapists. You got Chinese people doing yoga, teaching people how to guide their lives in the right way. You understand what I'm saying? It's amazing work, man. No matter how you look at it, it's amazing work. At the end of the day, I got the video and we diving into it, gang. Right? So what I want to do to y'all, first of all and foremost, is introduce y'all to Emily McDonald. You feel me? She's the creator of Minecraft. And I don't mean the game Minecraft for those of y'all that's game players out there. No, she's the creator of Minecraft, man. At the end of the day, to do something that amazing. First off, let's start here. Anybody who create anything or invent anything and you the owner of it, that is fucking amazing, my nigga. I don't give no fuck what nobody thinks, right? Take a lot of mind power to be creative. So I gotta present this video. I got to, you know, because now we got a lot of people out here, they doing amazing things, they doing creative things, they going crazy with what they do, right? We want to show them their flowers. We want to give them the credit they deserve. Because right now ain't nobody getting no credit. So you got to credit yourself. And I think that's how all these people make it. You know, they don't just do it and stop because nobody's giving them no credit, nobody praising it. No, that ain't what you do, gang, right? I don't think that's how they make it at all. So let's dive into this video real fast and let's see the real story behind the success that they have. Let me see. I don't need that one. Yeah, let's see the real success stories, because don't nobody tell those either, gang. I ain't a lot of them. Well, we don't got people telling them. Jay Shetty is, yeah, of course, one of the best podcasters out there. Duh. Let's dive into it though. And StreamYard, I caught you. You see, when you do StreamYard, you got to do that little rebalance game with StreamYard. Seems like StreamYard a little newer. I heard a lot about the other Raven podcast and streaming, but I don't think I want to do that. I've been dealing with you guys for a long time and I love it. Anyway, let's dive in. Shout out to King AK47, because I think I got StreamYard, either him or Nina Boy. So shout out to both of them cats. Let's go.
If someone was to listen to our conversation If someone was to listen to our conversation today and apply the things you have to say, how would their life change?
I'd like to say that it can and will change in every single aspect that you apply it to. I think that, and actually one of my students in Minecraft, she joined a few months ago, and I asked her, I said, in which ways do you think that your life has changed since joining? And she said every single aspect of her life has changed. And I think that the principles that I teach and I coach on and that I practice, I think they really can be applied to every single area of your life. So, yeah, I think it just depends on you and what you choose and what you intend, right? So it's all about intention there. And it's like, if you also just being more in control of your brain, I like to make the analogy of if you are driving a car down the road and you don't know how that car works. If it breaks down, you don't know how to fix it. You'll be stuck there, right? And I have a story of like my car breaking down. My brother luckily is a mechanical engineer. And I called him and he's like, oh, poor. But if you don't know how, and the brain works the same way, right? So let's say you're stressed out or you are overwhelmed.
She got a point. That car mythology that she just used, car.
Or you're struggling to focus or whatever it is. If you don't know how your brain works.
If you driving and you ain't a mechanic, how many times y'all been out there left, on the side of the road? You ain't a mechanic. You don't know how to fix your car. Nobody in your family a mechanic. Nobody in your family know nothing about the car. So you like, damn. Everybody like, you got AAA? Like, hell no. You ain't got AAA. What? You should get it. It's only $100. Won't help me now. I'm stuck. So that feeling right there, it usually comes to you in life, like during any moment that's challenging. Usually when you're trying to get a better position, usually when you're trying to upgrade yourself, usually when you're trying to scale to the next level, you feel me, of what you've been slacking at, you feel, or what you feel like, yo, I can do better, right? You get that sense of, well, how am I do better if I don't know? How can I do better if I don't know how to go farther, right? It's just like you starting a new task or a new sports, or, you're like, damn, how am I gonna play tennis? I never played. Well, practice, motherfucker. That's what practice is. And she say that so many times in here, not only her, but 1,000 podcasters. They say, if you ain't got 10,000 hours in something that you say you love doing, then you're not that thing that you claim you love doing. So if you're a musician and you ain't got 10,000 hours in music, of practicing music over and over and over and over, or if you're a carpenter and you don't got 10,000 hours in carpentry, you feel me, from practicing and practicing and practicing and learning and learning and learning, then right away you automatically feel yourself. And I think she go a different route. She a neuroscience, so she know the brain well better than I do. But the route she take is sort of similar to how us on the outside take it, versus a professional, a person who know your brain, who study, a person who know the flaws and why you do the flaws you do, or why you succeed the way you succeed. So, take it from her. Keep going.
You might be stuck. But when you know how your brain works, you can then use that knowledge and apply it to whatever area you're really struggling with. So that I think that it really can be applied to many different areas of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that analogy. I've had many a time in my life a car that's broken down on me, not been a mechanical engineer, and pushed my car up a hill. And
works, you might be stuck. But when you know how your brain works, you can then use that knowledge and apply it to whatever area you're really struggling with. So that I think that it really can be applied to many different areas of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that analogy. I've had many a time in my life a car that's broken down on me, not been a mechanical engineer, and pushed my car up a hill. And that's what it sometimes feels like for people. I feel like people feel that they're fighting against their brain. They're breaking down their mind. They're trying to push forward and they just feel stuck. I feel like so many people listening right now feel stuck in their job. They feel stuck in a bad relationship. They feel stuck looking for a career. If someone feels stuck, what do they need to understand about the brain in order to start the process to get unstuck?
Yeah. So I think that feeling of being stuck, it's really quite natural when you think about neuroscience and your biology. The brain loves to keep you in what is safe and normal to you. The brain is also, I like to call it a prediction machine. So we don't necessarily experience reality. We experience, our brains sort of filtering everything we see, hear, feel, touch, but also predicting what's about to happen. And that's why a lot of times, we feel like anxious or whatever it is. It has to do with the brain's predicting kind of something that's upcoming. And so I think that feeling of being stuck is quite normal and natural. And I just want to say that first, but also understanding which area you're stuck in, right? And I'm going to take it an interesting direction right now, but I like to talk about procrastination because it's a good example of feeling stuck, right? So if let's say you have a goal and you're like starting a podcast and you're like, okay, I want to do it. And then you're procrastinating it, right? So I always say that there are 3 reasons why people procrastinate. And the first reason is there's an identity sort of mismatch. And what I mean by that is that your sense of self and who you believe that you are doesn't match with you working toward the goal of launching a podcast. And this actually kind of resonated with me personally whenever I was starting to write a book. I was procrastinating writing my book and I was like, why am I doing this? I know it's a goal. I know I want to do it, but I don't know why I'm procrastinating. And the default mode network in the brain is really what's at play here. So the default mode network is really appropriately named because it kind of helps to regulate and propel our default mode of behavior, right? So it's responsible for our default mode of being and doing. But it's also responsible for our sense of self and constructing the narrative or the story of our lives. And so if your sense of self doesn't match, if your identity doesn't match whatever it is that you're trying to do, then your default mode network is not really going to be helping you do the behaviors or take the action toward starting a podcast. And so I always tell my clients, I tell my students, I tell everyone on social media, I'm like, just identify.
So some of y'all got that identity crisis to where, you get stuck, right? You get procrastination. I hate
identity shift, shift your identity. You can just start to identify as the version of you who has done the thing. And so
the reason I do so is because all this time you get, right? You get the same 24 hours everybody else gets. Let's not forget that start, right? Let's not forget that. But I feel like the more you procrastinate, I feel like the more you are scared. The more you are in fear, the more you are hesitant. Hesitant is the perfect word, actually. Just like she said, procrastination, which means hesitant in another sense. But you gotta do your Wikipedia word for that. Anyway, if you one of them people who procrastinate doing your goals, attacking places or desires or potentially passionate job, possibly attack, then you're scared, plain and simple. You're scared, man. Ain't no other way to put it, right? Ain't no other way. Something different. Like, oh man, it's not me. That's the main thing. They're like, it's not me. It's not me. That's bullcrap. Everything that the man told you was me. Most definitely. So everything she just described, everything she just broke down, and that was just one reason, right? She only said one thing. That's all she said. She didn't even give us the full synopsis. She didn't give us the full breakdown. You know what I'm saying? She didn't do all of that. Not yet, at least. So we're going to dive back into it. And that's why I listened to Maya Bielek. Shout out to Maya Bielek. Her and her husband's podcast. I think it's hers. You already know. Anyway, though, when you watch they podcast game, you see how they sort of bounce off each other, with knowledge. They bounce off each other with information. And also the people that they bring on the podcast game. I think that'd be the best part. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody that they bring on the podcast got a lot. Now, this lady right here, I never heard of her. Today, my first day actually hearing her. I heard of Elizabeth April. Shout out to Elizabeth April. She a good one too. She's a remote viewer actually. Her, I think she's just a solid neuroscientist. You know, like Maya Bialik. And at the end of the day, I think all neuroscientists people are cool. I think they the shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no other way to put that. They are the shit. Like, who are capable of 10 years from now, when everybody around you right now don't even know what they're capable of tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? Nor do they believe in what they're capable of tomorrow. So you don't keep going though.
Default mode network is not really going to be helping you do the behaviors or take the action toward starting a podcast. And so I always tell my clients, I tell my students, I tell everyone on social media, I'm like, just identity shift, like shift your identity. You can just start to identify as the version of you who has done the thing. And so that's kind of the first part of that. And then the second.
Let's talk about that first one. That's so interesting. That's so interesting. And I love the way you broke down the default mode network, because this identity mismatch that you're talking about, are you saying that if you don't, I know you've said something which I already have it, before something can happen?
Hey, she true. Every word she just said. Y'all got an identity crisis, right? You want to be the big boss man. You want to be the player. You want to be the $100 bill man. You want to be the richest. You want to be. Nobody want to be the poorest though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Ain't nobody trying to be the poorest. But everything that's great, you're trying to be. You got to be the person you meant to be, right? That's it. You got to be the person you meant to be. You got to fit in the shell that you are meant to fit in. You can't fit in the shell that everybody else is in and think the shit gonna work for you. It's different strokes for different folks. That's why the creator told you, gang. He created everybody differently, but in the same sense equal. You understand what I'm saying? And when you recognize that, then you know. So many people sit around there and hate on everybody else, what they doing and how they doing it, and look at them and say, and even me myself, I did it, but the difference is being able to understand you did it. And if you can understand that, then that's when you can change. And I think that's what she explained, like, as far as your mental shift, as far as know how to delete your old self, as the title says. You understand what I'm saying? To shift into the new you, the higher you. And that's why a lot of y'all go through the same problems you go through every day, because you're still in that same self. Your mind stays still think the same. So it's like, if you're trying to change your life and you're trying to get things in reality to be just exactly how you want it to be, well, then you got to walk in that. You got to embody that. You got to feel that. You got to live that. You know what I'm saying? Not just say it. Some people say it and then they only say it out of anger. And the whole time their heart telling them, like, shut up, lying. You lying like a motherfucker. You lying. Right? Because we all have to battle with ourselves also. The thing is to drop the fucking flex, drop the fakery, and just listen to what she said, man. She's a neuroscientist, so goddamn.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying? That you've got to feel like I'm already an author, I'm already a podcaster? How does someone practically apply that identity to make sure it's aligned?
Right. So it's really just choosing to identify as that person, right? And so when I say that, you have to act like you already have it, or you already are it in order to.
My best teaching is to don't let nobody make you feel like you ain't. No matter what nobody tell you, you can walk in any title you want to. You can walk and choose any character you want to, as long as you can feel it. You see what I'm saying? Not just tell yourself it and then go to bed tomorrow and don't feel it. Or go to bed tonight like, man, that was a lie. I know I was just flexing. No. That's why you gotta feel it. And then when you learn your purpose, and you learn cycles of life and the energy, that everything is an energy, then you wouldn't take anything as personal. So like when people angry out there, when people is anxious, when people are distracted, when people are what she said, another one they just mentioned, when you just want something so bad, when you just fiending for something, basically, you push that much farther away, because now that rules you. Now that's the control of you. And that's what makes people say money is the root of all evil. No. It ain't. That's not true. It's what people would do. that changed what people would do for a little bit of bread. Right now today, you see people in Chicago killing the shit out of niggas for $1,000. Look, homie, you have to wait for $1,000, man. Your mama ain't gonna see you no more. Your daddy, your brother, sister, whoever you love out there. I don't give a fuck if it was your motherfucking pet and nobody else loved you, nigga. You finna risk your life there. You know, so what she's saying is real, like a mental shift. It's a lot of black men out there in the world right now, black women also, white men, white women, Chinese men, Chinese women, all colors and races, right? And they out there and they think they lowest selves. They look at themselves for the lowest. They're like, I can't do nothing. I can't achieve. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If ain't nobody told you that today, I'm telling you right now, right here in this podcast, just the hell you can. And you got to lift yourself up and believe in yourself. That's crazy. Now, don't get it twisted. I know everything around you is making you feel like you can't. Everything around you is making you feel like, look, I'm not the greatest. Man, you the greatest if you say you is. Fuck what the next person next to you say. You know, you is the greatest. Now, if you get tough love, then you need tough love. Because in this world is cruel and hard. So at the end of the day, my nigga, you run around this bitch soft, you're going to get broke, gang. I ain't going to lie to you. You're going to get broken up. That's what's happening. You got people killing themselves, jumping off of roofs. They shooting themselves, killing their girlfriends, themselves, and the kids. Y'all heard about that Shreveport, Louisiana guy, the black guy who killed all 8 of his children, plus tried to kill 2 baby mama along with him. Like, don't know what type of mental anger he was in. Don't know what he was going through. But at the end of the day, it didn't deserve or it didn't cause for him to, you know, harm the children. What did the children have to do with you being mad? You understand what I'm saying? I never get that. I don't understand why parents are trying to take it out of the kids. Like, gang, I ain't the reason you pissed off, nigga. You pissed off with some other shit. Take that shit somewhere else. You understand? It is what it is. And then look. The parent can't be mad because at the end of the day, you trying to what you call that? You trying to basically lend. We can say like a bank lend. No, but you trying to basically pass off your anger to the child now because you're gonna piss them off. You feel me? I'm talking about, dude. We seen it first in white families. In the white families, the mom and dad didn't come on. Remember, they used to be like, Dad went and seen it. Wasn't they went to the store? Or he did this, and they never show up. They like, oh, he never came back. That's the milkman. Well, shit, the mom was mistreating the people. She mistreating the kids in the crib because she angry as hell. Don't know what's going on. Like, it's a mindset. It's a mind state. And the whole time she ain't even have to be angry. She could have shifted. Like what? She just said, Emily McDonald, you know. Let's carry.
Or be it works the same way. The analogy I use there is falling asleep at night. Like when you fall asleep at night, you lay down, you close your eyes, you slow your breath, and you pretend like you're asleep until you fall asleep, and your brain makes it so. And life works that way as well. And you have to act like it and move like it, right? Like you're not gonna become a drummer in a band unless you act like a drummer, and drummers practice. And so it's sort of like, and so how do I apply that like practically? I guess from my book example, I really just decided I'm an author. Like from this moment forward, I'm an author. And I think a lot of times we don't realize the power that we have to choose those sorts of things. And this is another reason why
she right. I had to stop her again. She right. And then I'm gonna back her up again. Because when I first started podcasting, people used to be like, man, you don't get a lot of views. You don't get this. You don't get that. People telling me all this shit to distract me or throw me off or stop me from doing it. Not one time did nobody tell me anything good to keep me going. You know, I had to pay attention to that. Maybe my daughter always say, and you know, one thing I can't lie, my daughter always say, great job, Dad. Even if she don't like the shit, she still just say it for some type of moral motivation or something, which is a good thing because you get good karma in the universe. Shit, you said it, you got an intention. Well, but you gotta have an intention though. You just can't say it out your mouth and don't mean it, but your heart be like, that shit bullshit. Good job. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do, black people. We do that a lot, gang. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know what I do the myself. Bro, that song was hot, bro. That shit wicked shit. But at the end of the day, that same thing, you know, right there never stopped me from podcasting. I don't give a fuck who like it. Because I ain't doing it for your like. I ain't doing it for you to like. I ain't doing it for my kids to like. I don't do it for my mom to like, my dad to like, my grandma to like. That. I do this shit for me. You know what I'm saying? This shit for me. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's somebody out there who don't get talked to. There's somebody out there who don't get spoken to. There's somebody out there household sitting bland as a bitch. They don't communicate. They dead. No energy in the house. And they need a nigga like me to come through and talk and give them some motherfucking uplift. You think everybody around the world just love sitting to themselves on the phone on social media? Like, you gotta be stupid. Right? Because I think she gonna mention it. And that's what everybody talking about now. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, everybody talking about social media. Social media is killing the social. Now, if social media was created for people to be more social, then why in the hell is people more separate than social? Right. She gonna break it down though. She a neuroscientist. She know better than me. Like I said before.
To be so careful about the labels that they use to identify themselves and the labels that they put on themselves. And growing up in my own life, I had so many different labels put onto me that I believed and just kind of allowed to describe who I was. And that impacted my life. It impacted my health. It impacted everything in my world. And so it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about it. But yeah, and so applying that practically, a lot of times it really just looks like choosing to identify as that version of you. Like if I'm trying to start a podcast, I am a podcaster, and there I am doing it, right?
It's almost like, how does an author behave? And let me start practicing that now. So an author gets up and writes a page even when they don't feel inspired.
Hey, basically, like right now, right? How many of y'all out there think you can be a superstar or celebrity? How many? You know, I'll wait. What is I'm gonna tell you, half of y'all lying out there, because right now today, when you said that in your mind, your heart was like, hell no. What if I don't make it? What if you don't succeed? What if this? What if that? You feel me? Not nobody out here really shape and create who they really can be. You know what people do? They accept who they can be. They accept who they can be based off of everything around them, or based off what people around them give them confirmation of. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna say it I am. They do that because, like I said, when I was younger, gang, that was the motto. The motto was to follow the bandwagon. Whoever looked the best, whoever got the most, whoever doing the most. That's who we was following. That was the whole key, right? And it's still is today. The younger generation, they want to look like this. They want to look like this. They don't even want nobody to look better than them. You feel me? They want to try to out-top that person. Now, once you out-top that person, is you happy or what? Like, what did that do for you? What did you gain from that? You feel me? So nobody nowadays know how to claim their identity. And if they do claim identity, everybody is so happy with the negative identity. Oh, well, my life is bad. Oh, well, I guess I'm fucked up for the rest of my life. No, motherfucker, you can change. Why you think neuroscientists are telling you that minds shift? People think once you become something, you feel me, you that forever. No, nigga. Look, yesterday don't dictate who you is today. Not in God's eye, anyway. And if you so worried about what another puny human like yourself and myself think about, then you got life fucked up. Life don't work by that. We don't get judged by what another human. We got to get judged just like you. When they die, we can die just like you. Life don't work by they say. You understand what I'm saying? They don't create. I be telling people that, like, gang, I ain't listening to none of you talking about, nigga, because you got to die just like me. You got to go to the big man and get judged just like me. Fuck you talking. So, why would I ever believe what you saying is the right way to live and the right way to move? Is you stupid? My big man ain't even say that. My creator ain't even tell, hey, yo, you need to listen to them. What they saying is the best. No. That's why I tell niggas, when I tell you something, you ain't gotta listen to me. I'm only giving you a piece of advice from what I learned. Just like a guy or an angel who won't come in your life and tell you the same thing. Just like your teacher. When they trying to keep you out of trouble, they gonna tell, hey, don't kick it with them. They bad. They gonna get you suspended. They ain't trying to teach you, God. They ain't trying to lead you. They just giving you some piece of shit they learned, dumbass. You know, so, and I'm like, right now today, though, we can't, shit, if you look around you, the generation that's the younger, the YNs, I don't think they learn too much, man. They side-eyeing you, looking you up and down, hoping they can get something off you, and then not recognizing you just as broke as them because you the same color as them. You on the same block. If you in the same neighborhood or radius as them, why would they even be focused on you? Oh, let's rob them. Let's see what they got. Bro, we on the same block paying the same amount of rent. The fuck? You probably need to go to the big houses out there where they got big houses, cars, and shit. Where they got, you feel me, the motherfucking big ass statues in their driveway when you go up in that motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? Like, ain't none of that shit up here. What you think you finna get? Pack of Kool-Aid, some shit like the same? Make that shit make sense. You know, like, bro, our culture crazy and lost. But you see other cultures like this guy, he ain't black, and old girl, Emily McDonald, speaking about how to shift. I ain't heard no black motherfucker on here besides the Maverick approach talk about mind shifting and bettering yourself, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Other than that, black people ain't doing shit but recording each other getting killed, beat up, jumped, murdered, exposed. That's it, and that's all. Like, that's the stupidest shit. Now, when Martin Luther King was around, that nigga ain't recording not name one of those things. You know what he did? People be like, well, it wasn't no phone. Yeah, the fuck it was. It was phones out there, dumbass. We ain't have them. Our black poor ass ain't have them. We ain't have enough money to buy them. But you better believe them rich Hollywood motherfuckers had them. If you didn't. How do people say that? At the end of the day, you know what he was doing? Martin Luther King was creating a 1,000,000-man march. He was making 1,000,000 motherfuckers march together, white, black, each color, Hispanic, no matter what color you were. So everybody can get along peacefully. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Malcolm X may have been about that action. And the only reason he been about that action is because of the same reason I would have been about that action. Motherfucker, I'm finna be a political pusher of peace. But y'all motherfuckers ain't finna just kill me like y'all did Martin. He watched Martin die. Y'all ain't finna kill me like y'all did Martin. So I'm packing a gun. He's packing an AR-15. You feel me? He gonna pack a gun. And you know who they used to get him? His own people. His own people. His own people. They used somebody who hated him in the family. Hey, oh yeah, you hate him? Y'all had problems? Well, come here. Step to the side of me. I'll let you. They like, you know what? His mama did piss me off last year. Do it. Yep. And there we go. We're just saying this has been part of black people culture for years, centuries, since slavery, you feel me? At the end of the day. Achilles, Pooty, start that chore. What's your chore? Read that calendar. You gotta make the kids do the chores and shit. Jesus, hey, crazy.
Because that's how they get, for example,
Right.
or like a podcaster sits down and you just start interviewing the people that are available until you're able to book the guests that you really want to speak to.
Right, exactly. And when that happens, when you write what happens then is that you're writing a new story and your brain kind of stops using your past to predict your future. And it kind of starts to take the present moment and your new identity that you are choosing to help predict your future behavior. And so it's super powerful.
I love that. All right, what's the second? That was great.
Okay,
Yeah.
So the second reason why most people procrastinate is fear. A lot of times we are actually subconsciously afraid of success. And I think this is a big reason why a lot of people stay stuck is that we are actually subconsciously afraid of what it might look like if we succeed at doing it.
Interesting.
And for me personally, so I'm actually about to launch a podcast. By the time this episode comes out, it may or may not be already launched, but when I was procrastinating filming my podcast, and me being me, I sit down and I analyze my mind. Like, why am I procrastinating starting to film this podcast? And what I found was that I was subconsciously afraid of being seen in sort of a more vulnerable way, because long form content is a lot more vulnerable than a 1-minute reel on Instagram. Like, you're not really you in that short of a period of time. But in long form content, people can really see you. And so that was sort of the fear that I uncovered for myself. But yeah, and I think this is another reason why I tell people all the time, like a lot of people say, get specific about your goals. But I also say, get specific about your fears, because your fears, they can have control over you when you don't know what they are. But when you identify them, labeling them, well, that activates the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, they sort of have this kind of seesaw relationship where when one activity in one goes up, activity in the other goes down. And so when you label your emotions, you label the fears that you have, you're actually giving yourself your power back. You're activating the prefrontal cortex, which is the CEO of your brain. It's sort of the boss of your brain. And so kind of getting specific about your fears, I would say, is the way to overcome that version of stuckness. And I think that's a really powerful activity to do if somebody were feeling stuck.
How did you get so specific and define your own fear? I love that you shared what you were worried about and this whole idea that people are scared of success.
Yeah.
How did you come upon that? Like, what process did it take? What reflection did you do? How did you identify them? I love what you said about identifying your goals is important, but actually knowing your fears is equally as important, if not more. How do you do that?
Yeah. So I think for me, I have the saying called take it all the way to the end. And so allow yourself to go on the journey or the path all the way to the end. And so I sat down and I was like, okay, if I go and I film this podcast, my goal is to have a top podcast in the world, right? So if I'm having a top podcast in the world, what might that look like? Oh, that means that I'm setting myself up to be seen more and maybe have more hate and maybe have more criticism and judgment and all that. And just seeing myself write that down, I was like, okay, well, if my brain is highlighting that as, oh, if you go and start a podcast, you're going to have more hate and face more criticism, then it might try to keep me safe.
Which usually that's what happened, gang. I mean, usually you got to think about it. If you look at the greats, all the people who done made it to millions, right? They done experienced that already. You ain't gonna sit there and not believe that they just got to a million or 5 million subscribers, not even 100,000 subscribers without having. When you great, that's what's gonna happen, gang. When you great, that's what's gonna happen, and you're gonna know you great because you're gonna start seeing it. You're gonna start witnessing it. You're gonna start witnessing everybody that go against you. Everybody that go against everything you try to put out there. I'm tell you why, because they ain't as great as that game. They can't do what you're doing, and they don't want to hear what you're hearing or what you're saying or what you're popping. Definitely when it comes to podcasts, so I understand what you're saying. Like when I started, like I told you, I was like, damn. And first thing, you know what? First thing that distracted me was the whole thing when people like, oh, you got this many views, that many views. Then I had to watch a white boy. No disrespect to white people. Shout out to them. Y'all be successful. Y'all give out a couple tips. Some of y'all, not all of them. I had to watch the white boy, and he was like, man, you can't look at the views. That shit is a distraction. That's a universal distraction. You gonna have them goofy motherfuckers who hating. It's not meant for them. No way. The world is full of billions. Do you think the people that's hating really matter and shape your life and dictate if you're gonna make it or not? You understand? No, I don't. Actually, what I learned was hating actually make you more noticeable. The more they hate, the more people want to know why they hate. There you go. The more they hate, the more people want to search up. Is they hate real? And then once they look at you, they don't hate you. They're like, oh, them people just hating. It always happens, bro. It never fails. Never fails, bro. So it's like, yo, when I learned that, I started going and going and going. The next thing you know, I was at 1,000. I was like, God damn, that's crazy. Because after a while, I locked into this point where I don't even read comments right now today. Never did. I don't give a fuck about the comments. But I had to start reading them because, like the white boy said, you gotta check your comments and respond. People will stop coming to the channel to watch. So if you ain't responding, nigga, I'm like, wait, this nigga ain't even interactive. He ain't interactive. You feel me? Why am I talking? You feel me? Because any channel I'm on, when I respond or I type in the chat, nigga, they respond whether it's 1 or 2 days later. I don't give a fuck how long it take for me. Some of y'all will be like, damn, they ain't respond today, so now your heart broke. I don't give a fuck how long it take. If they respond, period, nigga, even if it's a month, that's good. That means it took time for them to get to your motherfucking message, my nigga. So be happy. You understand what I'm saying? Once I learned that, I was like, oh, okay. Same way, like with the getting to be able to monetize my shit. Once I learned that, I was like, oh, you know, at first I was like, rush. I was like, man, it ain't working. They told me to do this. They gave me some life hacks and I did them. They didn't even work. I'm like, what the fuck? Man, they lied. They said this and that. Well, nigga, it wasn't my time. It's an algorithm thing. And I figured that out. Like, wait, YouTube working the algorithm? Yeah, nigga, you got to keep posting so the shit can pick up and then the shit can start circulating your shit. You just can't post one video today and think, I'm finna blow up tonight. Everybody think that's what viral is. No, nigga. Viral is when you stay consistent with what you're doing, that the algorithm got no choice but to notice you. Notice what you're putting out. Notice your work. My nigga, that's viral right there. Like, it's only a few motherfuckers who can make it viral off one video. And you know why? It's because they got the potential in them. The shit that they was looking at when they put that video out there, the people that watched it, they felt that shit was so relatable. You feel me? Like, why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? I would too. If you like Kodak Black, why y'all think he's so viral? Why y'all think everybody fuck with Kodak? Why y'all think everybody be on his wagon? Everybody want to support him? Because that nigga is a ghetto motherfucker. He give no fuck. He don't care what people think about him. Y'all see how he drugged up out there? Come on, gang. Make it make sense, man. Yeah. But to each his own.
that. And that's really what that is your brain is just trying to keep you safe. And so that's why identifying your fears can be so powerful. And so, yeah, I would say if you're trying to identify what your fears are, I would just take the goal, whatever it is that you're trying to do, all the way to the end. Like if it's the top podcast, or if it's the best-selling book, or if it's your business, or even a relationship, right? Like a lot of people in relationships, like you're afraid of relying on someone or being dependent on someone or really fully being open and vulnerable with someone. And honestly, just identifying that is the first step and getting super clear on that. Because when you get clear on that, then you can rewrite the story of exactly like you said. Yes, it's true. Being more vulnerable and being seen might equal more judgment or criticism, but it might also equal, and to the same extent, if not more love and more support. So, and you have to identify it first to give yourself the chance to even rewrite that fear.
Yeah, I love the idea of take it all the way to the end. That's a great one. It's a great way of actually getting really clear on exactly what's tripping you up. And I love what you just said there, that actually when you come up with it, you realize your brain was just trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
It was actually just trying to help you because it was scared of that. It wasn't that you weren't good enough, or it wasn't that you weren't smart enough, or it wasn't that you can't develop the skills. It was just trying to keep you safe.
Yeah. And I think when we think about our brain trying to keep us safe, that's a really big reason why the brain tries to keep us kind of in our comfort zone, right? But it's super important to recognize and acknowledge that any sort of growth happens outside of our comfort zones. Like I would not be in the position where I am today if I didn't take delusional level risks and leaps of faith. And so it's really a requirement to achieving or receiving or having whatever it is that we want. And so, yeah, getting really clear on our fears and taking it all the way. I take it all the way to the end applies to that. It also applies to limiting beliefs as well. Like take it all the way to the end. See what comes up for you. And also, yeah, I think because I've had students, I had a specific student ask me, she was struggling with sand volleyball, beach volleyball. And she was like, I had this fear. And I was like, take it all the way to the end. Visualize it maybe. You know, I don't think I've ever heard anyone tell people like, visualize your fears. But if it's safe for you and you're not going to like have any sort of physical reaction, like visualize it and see what comes up for you and see like, what is it really that you're afraid of? And then you can give yourself the chance to kind of rewrite that story.
Yeah. What's number 3?
Okay, so we've got, there's an identity mismatch, or there's maybe some underlying fear behind it.
That's number 2. I thought she was on number 3. I ain't gonna lie. So identity mismatch, underlying fear. What's next? Let's go.
Number 3 is really more of a scientific kind of simple, straightforward thing, and it's cheap dopamine. It's everywhere. And society sort of, it's everywhere. Cheap dopamine, social media, it's all over the place. And like fast food, binging Netflix, whatever it is. That's number 3 is cheap dopamine. And it's a dream. Dopamine, I always say like dopamine doesn't care about your dreams. Dopamine just cares about what you automate and what you repeat. And so it's going to keep.
I don't say it 50,000 times, but when I say it again, people like, hell no, you tripping, nigga. That ain't what it is. Bullshit. It don't take 1,000 people to say that for you to recognize this way. Come on, man. Social media, damn. The white girl had to say it. So wait, now white people got to expose what they doing to us and everybody else, because they grandfathers and shit, the one who's rich and they creating all this shit, man. Like social media, for real. I thought social media was made for us. I thought it was made for the people to network and communicate, to vibe, to learn. Shit, you got Rosetta Stone, you got language teachers, you got all this. Social media. What you put in your pocket, nigga? Like, come on. Hey, social media got these kids. Wow. Y'all seen the latest kids that been killing their parents over VR? Generation dumb. And social media made them dumb. Not school. This is what they got the people arguing about who dumb at the school, the teachers or the kids. Then you got the people talking about the black kids don't know if they going to a dumb school or not. No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that game. I doubt it. You understand what I'm saying? Highly doubt it. You know what I know it is? It's the shit that y'all feeding these kids. These kids would rather watch a motherfucking tablet, watch a phone versus learning. When it comes to learning, social media is so prevalent now that learning hurt their fucking brain. Hey, and even make it worse, my nigga, if you talk to them long enough, that hurt their brain. They so dumb. Like, I ain't lying. That's why they losing their life out here, bro. Like, The Bible talks about that. You can't blame nobody. You gotta blame the teacher. You gotta blame the teacher, right? And they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Bullshit. That old dog better want to learn.
Doing that. And also, when it comes to cheap dopamine, if you're giving yourself a lot of that, then you're not really, and one of the big things that I do to help kind of motivate myself to doing things is withholding reward. And so whenever I was in the PhD, I studied drug addiction. And so a lot of dopamine research and studying kind of the dopamine pathways, but also drug addiction is really just maladaptive habit formation. And so when I think about kind of cheap dopamine and habit formation and behavior, because dopamine drives a lot of behavior, one of the things that I do to kind of motivate myself is just withhold whatever reward that I'm wanting. So let's say I saw it online or I was shopping or whatever, and I saw a shirt that I wanted.
How many of y'all gonna? Hey, look, how many of y'all gonna really not reward yourself? Stop playing. How many of y'all gonna not reward yourself from what you really want? You know what I'm saying? You know damn well you gonna reward yourself. You like, fuck that. I'm getting it. You know what I mean? Yeah, what you said, don't reward yourself. That's cheap dopamine. And that's what social media giving us, cheap dopamine, right? Cheap dopamine. I ain't gonna lie, because long podcasting, that's almost, they tried to wipe that out, but they couldn't. You got real ones like Joe Rogan, you got real ones like the Maverick Approach. People of that nature, and they do our videos. They do what's his name? Trap Lord Ross. Shout out Trap Lord Ross. I don't know how to Poetic Flock, DJ Academics, King AK-47. These cats who do long podcasts and shit, they really don't look for the cheap dopamine. You understand what I'm saying? They don't. They want that long shit. They want that shit that you gotta work for. That's what I like. I don't like the cheap shit. I don't like the microwavable dopamine. That TikTok shit. That's why I ain't go to TikTok. That shit too simple, man. Nah, I know that's the way people try to make it, but my nigga, that's just making you work less. And then if you get too comfortable working less, my nigga, then you're gonna be satisfied. You understand? You're gonna be real satisfied. Anyway, let's carry on though.
I wouldn't allow myself to buy it, or a candle or whatever it is. I wouldn't allow myself to buy it until after I do the task that I'm maybe procrastinating or feeling stuck doing. And so if someone's out there right now and you're procrastinating or feeling stuck, starting a business or going after a job or dating in a relationship or whatever it is, and you're regularly giving yourself sort of cheap dopamine, or, allowing yourself to just like have whatever reward it is and you just give it to yourself all the time, then you're not really setting yourself up for success, because you're giving yourself, your brain is just, it's well fed on dopamine. And you can think of it sort of as the analogy of like snacking all day, right? So if you're snacking all day, you're never really going to be hungry and to eat that whole meal. And so dopamine's kind of the same way. If you're like giving yourself those cheap.
Also, she forgot to say, gang, if you snacking all day, you ain't got no vitamins, nigga. You ain't getting no nutrients. If you snacking all day, you ain't getting the right proper nutrients for your motherfucking brain to even be able to think the right way. What they doing to the kids? They snacking all day. The stores, corner stores. I'm talking about everywhere you go. Carry on.
Dopamine hits going on social media all day long, and then you're never really going to be driven to go complete that big task. And that big task is going to be a lot more rewarding than the small, repetitive, cheap dopamine, especially at night. So I want to highlight that, because this is something newer that I've been talking about. And honestly, I discover all of this. Like, obviously, I learned about neuroscience in school, but I discover a lot of the kind of hacks and stuff based on what I need and in my own life. And so I realized
social media only makes you less creative, right? The more, I'm putting it to you like this, the more I used to watch social media, the less I wanted to do anything. I ain't want to create no video. I'm going to tell you why, because I'm watching all the funny people on social media already. It's not going to make me a superstar. Now, me though, thank God I got the type of mindset that when I was looking at the people, I'm like, oh shit, I can do that. That's the first thing that came to my head. Oh, I can do that. They doing it. You feel me? Now, people like, that's following. No, it ain't, nigga. That's following to success. Because if I'm watching the person that's on social media, and everybody watching them, and they got millions of views, you dickhead, then why wouldn't I follow that? I ain't finna follow no nigga that's on the blog. I ain't finna follow your dumb ass because you wearing red and this and you got on boots and you looking good. Hell no, I ain't following that dumb ass shit. No. You know what I'm gonna follow? I'm gonna follow the person who's succeeding. I'm gonna follow the person at the plan. person with the plan, they got the mindset to win. Like she said, that's success. But if you doping yourself up on short, small dopamine, then my nigga, you ain't setting yourself up for success. You setting yourself up for sure, short failure. Like that.
Waking up with less motivation, waking up low on energy, and just not really feeling like normally. And I have most of the time, I really do wake up and I jump out of bed and I'm like ready and so excited for the day. So I'm like, what's happening here? And what I actually realized was that dopamine actually resets itself and restores as you sleep. And so scrolling at nighttime or binge watching Netflix or any of those things that give you cheap dopamine, and even eating late night snacks and all that, that actually, well, one, it disrupts your sleep and that keeps your dopamine system from restoring itself. But also it desensitizes your dopamine receptors. So when you wake up in the morning, you're, for lack of a better, like keep it simple, you're less sensitive to dopamine when you wake up in the morning, when you give yourself cheap dopamine at night. And so cheap dopamine is number 3. It's a big reason why people stay stuck. Yeah, because if you're giving yourself snacks all day, you're never going to be driven to cook a meal. If you're giving yourself cheap dopamine all day long, you're never going to be driven to go do the big task that's going to help you get closer to your dreams.
I love that. How do we convince ourselves that the big task is going to be more fulfilling than the cheap, quick dopamine? Or what do we do with that? Because I think you're spot on that there are a million distractions today. It's easy to be caught down a wormhole. It's easy to binge a show. And you don't realize that actually building the thing you love or starting that business or investing in that relationship, whatever it is, will be so much more meaningful. What do we do with that? How do we get there?
Another thing,
Yeah,
though,
so I
another thing though,
Whatever your thing, you can make it an even.
pay attention around you.
It's giving you
Everybody that do got something they want to start, they give up. Everybody they trying to complete. Everybody that got somewhere they trying to be in life, somebody they trying to be, they give up. They shake. You know what I'm saying? They lose hope. And personally, I could have been a victim of that, but I'm glad for the mindset I got again, because at the end of the day, my nigga, giving up just ain't in the regimen. You know what I'm saying? Or changing plans, changing narratives, yeah. But giving up. No. And that's where you lose that, because that's that fucking short dopamine trip that you take make you want to give up. Like, you know what I'm saying? You like, damn, I'm used to it coming back. I'm used to the rewards hitting me very quick. No, sometimes it takes groundwork. You know, it takes groundwork. And if you ain't down for groundwork, my nigga, you will never get there. It's just like in relationships and your job and school and any sports. You on the team, all of that shit take groundwork, my nigga. You ain't just finna hop out there the best. Ain't nothing out there perfect. You feel me? And God told you that in the Bible. So at the end of the day, it takes work, and it takes building work. It takes column process layer of work, and it takes strength. Some of y'all think that, okay, the work you put in today, you're gonna put in tomorrow, and that's gonna make it that much better. Hell no. It don't work that way, gang. No, they don't. Nigga, you gotta put more work than you put in yesterday to go farther. You feel me? Just because you got this far today don't mean tomorrow you ain't gotta put in harder work, nigga. Yeah, nigga, this was just a business step. This is a stepping stone. I think a lot of people think, you know, nah, well, I put all this work in, it's supposed to work out like this. Type change, my nigga. Nobody told you this shit was gonna be easy. Some of us that just stop playing. You understand what I'm saying? Jesus went through it, that means we can do it, right?
2 things. The first is get super specific about why you want that thing, right? So if you don't really know why you want, and let's, I guess the big goal for this would be writing a book, because that takes so long. And it does not come easily or come quickly.
And it never gets easier. I'm writing my 3rd book right now. It does not get easier. It is not. I'll just tell everyone, it does not get easier.
And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. They used to say that to me all the time in the PhD. Even though they wanted you to sprint the marathon. And so I think for that, it's really understanding and being super clear about why you want to do it, because motivation is not always going to be there for you. And that's where knowing your why And I kind of have a different take on discipline, where I don't really think of like this hardcore sort of discipline sort of moment. I think of discipline as looking out for future you. And I think this is why it's super important for me whenever I am working with people. I ask them, like, who do you want to be? Like when you imagine yourself like achieving the goals or whatever it is, like it's not really about that. It's about who achieving those goals is going to make you become. And that's
sad to say, nobody know who they want to be nowadays, man. Nobody believe in nothing no more. That's the bad part. Nobody know who they want to be. They don't believe in shit, man. So the question is, man, how you gonna know who you want to be if you don't believe in anything, right? If you really never seen who you can be, how do you know who you want to be? Because I remember that question used to be asked back in school, like, can you see yourself where you're gonna be 5 years from now? Hell no. We was kids then. I don't even know why they asked us that question, but I think it was a prep thing, right? They had the purpose. But they used to ask them, I'm like, 5 years. Nigga, we can't read the future. Everybody used to say, we can't tell the future. I bet you they don't ask the new generation kids that. I guarantee you they don't. Half of the people used to ask us, they don't even talk to them about teach them nor anything, but they used to ask us, then they say do 5 to 7 years, right? But like I said, in 2026, half of the people don't know who they want to be right now. You understand what I'm saying? Some people get the idea of who they want to be today, and then tomorrow somebody will come along right next to them that they truly admire, and then it'll change their whole inspirational goals of being themselves. You feel me? I only can speak off experience. It used to happen when I was a teen. You feel me? I used to recognize who I wanted to be, and then I get around somebody who probably much cooler. At that moment, I felt it was much cooler. You feel me? Until years later, then I found out they wasn't much cooler. I'm like, wait, they wasn't cool at all. They was scamming all the time. They was doing this all the time. So then I recognize, like, oh, okay, I understand now. But that's, and you know what lesson that was? Stop following. Be yourself. Be your authentic self. You follow them because you've seen the cars, the jewelry, you've seen the shows they doing, you've seen the TV spotlight they got, you've seen all the limos they get to ride in, the houses they visit and parties they go to, right? All the celebrities and shit like that. So you're like, I gotta follow that method. Whatever they doing, I want to learn, I want to do. And then all of a sudden, bam, you feel me? Something happened to them. The whole time, they was robbing people. The whole time they was killing people, taking things from them. You understand what I'm saying? The karma came back. So, like, man. But, you got to learn to be your authentic self out there, man. A lot of y'all, be your authentic self. No matter what. No matter what you're looking at today, if it distracts you, be you. No matter what. Like, if it distracts you, snap back into reality. Smack yourself back into reality. Just stay focused on what's your purpose. Your purpose might hit you in the heart a couple times. But due to the fact of what you look at around you, your purpose is going to slip past you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to slip past you because it's knocking at the door, but you're looking like shit. But my homie over there, he got a Benz, he got this, I want that. But your purpose not, hello, I'm here. Hey, if you serve your purpose, I'll give you that. But I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention, man.
Really what it's all about. Like, who are you feeling called to become? And getting super clear on who that is and why you want to be that person. And so understanding your why and why you want to do it. Why do you want to write the book? And that will keep you going and motivate you. But also who that's going to make you become. Like, I want to be an author. Like, I want to have a book published. And sometimes that's going to motivate me a lot more than just thinking about publishing a book. You know what I mean? I think that is sort of super important is really knowing your why. And then I think the other thing, when you're clear on that, when you're clear on who you want to become and your why and your purpose for doing it, that's really the first half of it. And then the other half of it, I don't do the whole internal battle thing. Like, I don't negotiate with myself. That's something that I don't do. And so I think trying to convince yourself that it's going to be rewarding and going to be better than scrolling on my phone, I don't think that we can really even do that. I don't think that that's something that I wouldn't recommend. I think in that scenario, it would more be, and actually like recently I was struggling with filming content, and I called my friend who's still in the PhD. She's like my best friend. And I called her and she's like, you're the one that would always tell me you need to withhold reward. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want like a new outfit? Like, what is it that you want? And then get clear on like what it is that you want. And then don't give it to yourself until after the big thing has been accomplished, after you've done the thing that you want to do. And that's how you start to train your brain that it's more rewarding. A dog doesn't learn to sit for free. I say that all the time. If you want to teach a dog how to sit, you have to give your dog a treat. And then that treat boosts dopamine. That dopamine drives learning. And then when you learn it and it becomes a habit that you repeat, then it's just wired in and you're doing it. And you don't have to think so much about it. And it's not about convincing yourself. It's just wired in. It's automatic behavior. And then another thing that I talk about a lot in my community and in the people that I coach is that take a moment after you do accomplish those things, or it doesn't have to be some big goal that you're accomplishing either. It can maybe be even something small, like I said, creating content, like that's a stepping stone on the way. And it can be just as simple as taking a moment to tell yourself, hey, I'm proud of you. Good job. You accomplished that. Self-talk boosts dopamine. Like self-affirmation boosts dopamine. It activates the reward center.
Self-talk boosts dopamine, right? I got to give her a round of applause, right? But I do self-talk. People think I'm crazy. I do self-talk. No, nigga, self-talk. Reward yourself. Because look at you. Look around you. How many times you get rewarded in a day for doing anything good? Just a small thing. Taking out the trash. Picking up a piece of paper. How many times somebody going to say, thank you? I appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you. You feel me? How many times? Come on, I'll wait. Give me a drum roll, please. Not too many, motherfucker. You know, just like I know. Not too many. You hear me? So yes, it's best to say, okay, you're welcome, or thank you, I appreciate you. And then look, even when you said, sometimes like I was at work the other day, and I spoke to my boy, hey, how you doing? They didn't speak. I guess they thought not speaking was gonna harm you or hurt you. No, you only hurt it yourself, motherfucker. You thought you was doing somebody. I ain't finna say nothing to that. No, you kid, you only kept that same evil, negative energy flowing in your body, stupid. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like right. So the next motherfucker came through and I hit the door. I was like, they didn't even say thank you. I didn't say, you know how most black people like, damn, they didn't even say thank you. You could have said thank you. That means you was looking for that. You was expecting, so that means you only held the door just for thank you. Like, man, get your dumb ass out of here. You supposed to do that out the kindness of your heart, stupid. Like, you gotta be an idiot. You gotta be an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Just pure idiot, man. And if anybody told you yet, then yeah, you know. I definitely know, like, man, there's idiots out there, and they do shit just out of the hopes of receiving something. Like, hey, you ain't receiving shit, man. That's life. It's the life. Well, you ain't no God to reward you. Like, no, it don't work that way, my nigga. No, it don't. It don't. Anyway, let's.
I didn't used to believe in affirmations. I used to think they were woo woo or whatever. And I was like, no, what is that? But then, you know, I sort of went on my own journey and then of course looked into the neuroscience of it, and they really are so powerful, and not even necessarily an affirmation track or whatever it is, but speaking to yourself positively and kindly. It's so important, and making sure to take a moment to do that and acknowledge yourself when you are working toward the goals, because it's so easy to, you know, just be like, okay, like I posted a video. Okay. All right. We're not necessarily at 10 million yet. So like, we're not there yet. It's really easy to do that and get caught.
And I just said that almost threw me off from podcasting. People tell me, oh, your views ain't up. Man, I don't get no fuck. I don't do this for niggas to view my shit, dude. Hey, nothing I do is for nobody else satisfaction. Bitch, I ain't doing shit for you. This for me, my nigga. This to better myself. Like she said, this to pat myself on the back. I don't need you niggas pats on the back. Right now, we in a world where people don't give pats on the back purpose. You hear me? Because like I said, they either can't do what you do. They either don't want to see you shine and they ain't shining. They're like, why that motherfucker gonna be happy? And I mean, so that's why she said what she said, man, you got to pat yourself on the back. After you do what you do, take time out to reward yourself, congratulate yourself. Fuck everybody else, man. Simple, man. You let them people detour you. You let them throw you off. Once they throw you off, you'll be stopped. You'll stop doing everything you used to love to do. You won't even be yourself no more, gang. You understand what I'm saying? Like, simple. No.
In the big picture and not give yourself the pat on the back for the steps that you're taking along the way. And those are the little dopamine boosts that are going to build momentum, that are going to keep you going, and that are also going to teach your brain that, oh, hey, this behavior, this action that we're taking is valuable and meaningful.
I believe that travel is one of the greatest that we've ever been given. And Chase Sapphire Reserve has been my gateway to the world's most captivating destinations. When I use my Chase Sapphire Reserve card, I get 8 times points on all the purchases I make through Chase Travel, and even access to one-of-a-kind experiences like music festivals and sports events. And that's not even mentioning how the card gets me into the Sapphire Lounge by the club at select airports nationwide. Travel is more rewarding with Chase Sapphire Reserve. Trust me. Discover more at chase.com/ Push it, bend it, flex it. Introducing the latest rule-bending innovation from Brooks Running. People should delay.
It doesn't have to be a purchase.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a purchase.
Yeah.
I'm using, this is personally for me, I like clothes.
Right,
and
right,
so
right.
like for me, and then maybe it's even going and planning. It can be anything, like planning a reward for yourself, like going out to dinner. Let's say if you're a foodie, it really depends. So I'm not going to sit here and tell people what's going to boost their dopamine because it's very highly individual. Like what is it that you want and like, but maybe you love going to the grocery store and buying these one box of cookies that you really like, or whatever it is. Maybe there's something, and also it's good to switch it up. Like if it's something that you haven't done for yourself in a while, or like there's a dessert that you love that you only have on your birthday, it's like, okay, if I take the steps, if I sign up for this LLC and I get the logo done and I set up the website, I'm going to go get that thing that I get for my birthday and I'm going to give it to myself now.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's just kind of really anything that makes you, and I think also this is why I always talk about with people is to also have something to look forward to. I think is super important, whether it's just like a dinner, because I found and this is something I really learned through experience in college and undergrad, but then of course now knowing the neuroscience of it, I would be so much more productive and study so much better when I had plans on Friday night. And like if you don't have any plans or anything to look forward to, or like a reason to get stuff done quickly, then it's going to be a lot harder. And also like dopamine is released in anticipation of a good thing happening. It's not just about reward. It's also when you are anticipating something, like from my like kind of research studies, that was more tied to craving, right? But in kind of our day-to-day lives, it's anticipation. Like that's why when you're a little kid and it's the night before Christmas, like you can't fall asleep at night because you're excited. You're anticipating something. And actually the day that we were supposed to close on our house, which was like 2 weeks ago, I woke up that morning feeling like a kid on Christmas. And I was looking into the neuroscience of it actually, because I was like, how do I activate this feeling more every single day? Because it's a great feeling. And I was so productive. But that was really a day of detachment because we weren't sure whether or not we were going to close that day. And it was actually as soon as we decided, oh no, it's not going to. And I was like, it's always when you let go. So yeah, I think it depends on the person when it.
Hey, that's a cold place. She said, it's always when you let go. I ain't never heard nobody say it that plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the best way to put it, when you let go. Because when we waiting on something, we anxiously wait on it, right? We get so anxious about things that we wait on that, you know, we tend to put other things on the back burner because we waiting on whatever it is that we're so anxious about, right? When it take a while to learn that anyway, I ain't gonna lie, because I learned that way down the line. I ain't learned that in my teens. It took a long time. But at the end of the day, once you finally learn it, it's still hard. Yes, hard to stop being anxious about things you're waiting on. Definitely if it's good and it's coming, like a new job, a new car, a new house, a new boat, whatever, new land, new trip, new anything. When you're waiting on the game, it's hard to not be anxious for it. It's hard to just say, yo, I'm gonna let it go. I know it's coming. You know, I know it's gonna work. And that's the same thing that go on with prayers right now today. I can tell you. Because some people right now today, they'll pray, and then when they pray, they'll still pray and pray and pray and pray and pray and pray. But you know, I always was taught by a real OG who really do their studies and they calculations when it comes to the creator, that they said, look, if you pray once, you ain't gotta pray again. Because your faith alone supposed to make everything go through. The faith you got alone supposed to make things flow for you like water. But nowadays, you know, in 2026, in the state, the conscious state of mind that everybody living in, they don't got faith. You know, it goes back to when I said about who people believe in. A lot of people don't believe in nothing. Some people believe when you die, that's just it. Some people believe that somebody else done made the path for them to believe in. We can't clap for that. We can't clap for that because we don't even know who made the path for them to think that way, right? And then some people don't believe in anything, and those are the people, what they call them, agonist or something like that. Not a Satanist, but it's a little deeper than that. It's way deeper. And at the end of the day, like, gang, if you here, you got breath in you, you got life, you see water around you, you got family, friends, everybody got the same limbs and the same energy and spirit you got, then why wouldn't you believe? You know what I'm saying? And I think those people particularly, they get to seeing special things. They get to seeing shit that tripped them out, shit that they only can talk about. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's amazing at the end of the day. Show you how wonderful, you know, miraculous this world, the universe, humans and every species on this mud was created and made. So, you know, we got to give a round of applause for that.
It can be any sort of rewarding thing. Like actually something that I've been doing, because I have a mountain bike. I'm not like an avid mountain biker, but I love nature. And I also have a ripstick. I love to ripstick just like around my house or whatever it is. And so I told myself the other day, actually, I was like, I'm going to film this content and then afterward, I'm going to ripstick. And giving myself that sort of little reward of like, honestly, it's like playtime. Like not giving myself that, it motivated me to go get it done that way because I had something to look forward to and a little reward afterward.
Absolutely. Well said. It definitely works.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely works. I can think of so many moments in my life where that's exactly how I'm focusing on how to get the work done first and then be able to break afterwards. And the biggest one for me, from what you said, that I think really is going to make a difference for people is being kind to yourself in the process.
Yeah.
That grace that comes with that and the ability to celebrate the small wins and the progress. Because if you're always measuring yourself up against a big goal, you could be waiting a long time. Like, especially when you're writing a book. Yeah. I mean, that you just told me the cycle of when your book's going to come out. And that's what it is. It takes like 2-3 years to put it together. Then it takes time for it to come out. Then you're promoting it. So the actual result of someone saying, I love your book and I got so much from it is so far away that if that's what you're waiting for, it's going to feel like forever.
Yeah. I actually had to switch. This is funny that you say that because when I first started, I was very motivated by having a best-selling book and writing this book. And quickly did I learn that's not going to last and we're not going to be able to push through on this. So I actually shifted from being motivated by kind of the result to, hey, actually, I just want to be an author, and being an author is a reward in itself. Mm-hmm. And when I acknowledged that, then it became more rewarding to write the book and do the work. And so it was that shift. And I think that's also why it's so important to figure out who you want to be and that identity, and who it's going to make you. Because when you can start to kind of identify as that, it's also very rewarding to embody it as well.
Yeah.
Right now, somewhere in your vendor master file.
Yeah, you've said that desperately wanting something actually blocks you from getting it, which applies to what you just said about your house.
Yeah.
So like just that moment you let go.
You know, I learned that fucking studying Qigong, gang. I learned that studying Qigong. Chinese people, the monks actually, they said, yo, the more you want, the farther you push it away. The more you want something, the farther you push it away. Yeah. That's why I find myself not really wanting shit a lot. No, not at all. I'm not finna be begging. I'm not anxious. I'm not waiting. I'm not desiring. None of that shit. You know what I do? I only control the things I can control. And that's my energy, my mind, and that's about it. Anything else, that shit can go yeah. Because if it was meant for you to control it, then the creator allow you to control it. The creator allow you to manipulate it and, you feel me, make it all to what you wish it to be. The desire for anything though, you know, some people probably feel like they desire these things because they feel like they lack something. Usually that's why you desire something. Because if you felt like you had everything already, you would not want anything. If you knew you had everything, like, gang, I'm good, I got this, that, nobody would want nothing. Nobody in the world will want anything, right? So at the end of the day, you got to understand that, look, gang, It's not what you don't, desire or do desire. It's the lack, the idea of lack. It's the idea of having nothing or not enough that comes in your mind and make you, create these scenarios in your life. That's basically what she does now. That's what she explained.
You're like, you got the call that you got your house. Why does desperately wanting something actually block it?
When you are very, and you desperately want something, and it's to the point where it is kind of raising your stress levels, and you are dependent on it or attached to the outcome. It boosts stress and it boosts cortisol, and that being able to routes, which is, and personally, I had a goal and I had to be very open to alternate pathways in my life. I had to be very open to like, okay, and we'll go down the road and maybe this road isn't it and we'll take a different road, but being able to be open to alternate pathways that actually you're less able to do that and you're less open-minded and you have more of tunnel vision whenever you are kind of desperately attached to something. And also whenever we are chronically stressed, that puts us in fight or flight. And when the nervous system's dysregulated, it becomes way harder to rewire your brain. And I like to use the analogy of a kid in a classroom. Like if you're a kid in a classroom and you are being bullied by every single student, it's going to be really hard to pay attention to the teacher and actually learn what's being said. But if you feel safe in that classroom, the kid can actually feel safe to learn and pay attention to the teacher and absorb what's being said. And it works the same way in our lives. Like,
it only makes sense, man. It only makes sense. You ain't gonna hear that nowhere else but here, gang, on this channel. You hear me? Because at the end of the day, like I said, distractions that's taking place right now around the world, they are meant to destabilize your thinking. You're meant to destabilize you from deciding and making the wisest decisions, but yet to rush you into the dumbest decisions. I don't see nobody yet admitting that around the world, gang. They can't. Let me tell you why. They don't even know. They don't. Until you start studying and you're like, damn, hold up, wait, that do make sense. Hold on, wait, what's you feel me? That's why I'm like, bro, I ain't got time for nothing nobody else talking about, my nigga. I'm only on this and this only, gang. Everything else gonna fall in place when it got to, my nigga. You can't control shit you don't control. You can't control life. You can't control your future, your past, man. Other than that, man, that's my time, gang. I love my time too, gang. I appreciate everybody out there. You feel me? Make sure you share the word, and you better pay attention to the body of your thing. Shorty just said, I love y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all take care. Stay out the way, man. Stay believing in yourself. Fuck everybody else. Do shit.
The gang, them grew up in piling. Couple of groupies to fit with. High, no turbulence, vibing. Higher than you niggas getting. Flying while you niggas flyless. Your kind is scooter dependent. I come something new when I'm driving. Driving off the roof, no ceilings. Got a skyline view when I'm riding.